Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to see and hear more about Napoli. If you have been subscribed to the channel, welcome back. I am excited for this new season. But let's just say that this week, not much has happened. Last week, I brought you guys the news of the defenders coming in. We compared them a little bit. And then this week, there's been a few rumors, a little bit about Osimhen, a little bit about some other players, but nothing very concrete. There was obviously Napoli's first few games, first few outings, but I wasn't going to make a video about playing against Mantova or a third, fourth, fifth division side, guys, because last year, when Rudy Garcia was around, we won our first friendly games and we looked great on the field. We had Di Lorenzo and Mario Rui and everybody else playing amazing, and then we saw what kind of season they had. So unless we play against a tougher opposition, I'm not going to make a video trying to analyze what kind of overlapping run Spinazzola did against an 18-year-old who is the first time he's playing against anybody except his younger brother. I'm just not going to be doing that, okay? Because I feel like I would be doing a disservice to you guys. I mean, obviously, you guys would be clicking on that video, but I don't want to give you guys any kind of false hope or false indications of the Napoli to come before we get some real opposition against us. And plus, more than half the team is missing. So, without further ado, we do have to talk a little bit about Napoli and about all the rumors and everything that have happened. But before we do that, I want to start off with Giuffredi again, Di Lorenzo's agent. Look at what he had to say. I mean, this is a lot, right? And we're not gonna go over it because guess what? I ain't reading all that, man. I'm happy for you. Or I'm sorry that whatever you wrote happened. But if you think I'm gonna go and read this and interpret this and give you more spotlight than what you already had in the last 3 months, you're out of your mind. I just think that Di Lorenzo needs to put his agent in check because his agent cannot keep talking and going over. It just creates all sorts of drama. I think Di Lorenzo needs to keep his agent in check. Otherwise, we need to have a discussion again about Di Lorenzo because the agent of the captain cannot be doing this. It sets a horrible example for everybody else. Now, guys, let's go to some transfers, and this one is something that will make me absolutely go insane. Sport Mediaset in Italy say James Rodriguez has offered himself to Napoli. Guys, this is how dry news has been, not just with Napoli, but in general in world football recently. There's just not that much going on. Everybody's just kind of waiting. I mean, yes, Morata to Milan, a few things here and there, but everybody is just waiting for that domino effect to start, with the real players to start. And people are now launching different names here and there, and we're recycling things, guys, from 2018. I mean, James Rodriguez to Napoli. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? And that first comment is exactly correct. It is the multiverse. Let me go and put a big like on that comment, just like I know you guys will do on this video. Something that is a little bit more interesting for Napoli, coming from Di Marzio, is that to substitute Lindstrom, who we know might be on the way out to Everton, substitute Lindstrom, Berardi is an option. Now, that is very interesting. Berardi knows the Serie A. I think it's about time he gets an opportunity at a bigger stage. But I am just worried about whether this is a little bit too late for Berardi. He's 30 years old. His injuries have gotten the better of him lately. But if this is to be vice Engonje, then great. And we move Politano onwards. But something quite doesn't quite feel right because I don't think Ngonje is leaving. I don't think Politano is leaving. So where does Berardi fit into this? Because Berardi for me goes on the right, not on the left. And for me, Lindstrom has been a player more associated towards the left as a vice Kvaratskhelia. So this news for me doesn't quite make sense. We would have, if we get Berardi, we would have Ngonje, Politano, and Berardi all on the same side. I don't see the link between Lindstrom and Berardi. Speaking of Lindstrom, bit more details on this coming from Fabrizio Romano. Apparently, Napoli have agreed a deal with Everton. The player has convinced himself of this move. 3 million for the loan and then a 22 million by option. That is an incredible piece of business by Napoli, considering we bought him for 30. If we could sell him on after 2 years for a combined total of 25, that's very, very good business, considering how much of a flop this guy has been. And if he does well at Everton, well then, congrats, buddy. You might just reach top 10 in the Premier League as well. Now, talking about someone that could maybe replace him, David Neres from Benfica. Now, a lot of you guys will have seen him also at Ajax in that incredible team that had De Ligt, that had Frankie de Jong, Tadic, all these guys. And he was a star at Ajax a few years ago. Now he's a little bit older, 27, 28 years old. He struggled at Shakhtar when he left Ajax. Very interesting choice to go to Shakhtar. It's very much a down move for me, and I thought he could have really done more than that. Then he gets a chance back in a top 5 league or a top 6 league, let's say, with Benfica, a top club, plays the Champions League, but Di Maria has completely outshined him, even though they play on different sides of the field in different, Di Maria goes on the right and cuts inside to his left. Neres has been playing a lot on the left for Benfica. This is where it's a bit more interesting than to see him as a replacement for Lindstrom, because he is someone that can play on the left. He's got incredible dribbling, he's got speed, but he just hasn't quite converted that talent into goals and assists in recent years. And I worry that he's lost a bit of his touch. But if he's supposed to just come here and be a replacement backup for Kvara, and we can get him for less than 15 million, then why not? Why not? I think that is an upgrade from Lindstrom, and I think he does have something to prove that could be quite useful for Napoli. Now, Ostigard as well might be on his way out. There was news that Rennes in France was interested in him, and apparently Manna, another great piece of business, is convincing the player to accept that move, and Rennes are apparently willing, according to Di Marzio, willing to pay 7 million euros for this transfer. Look, for me, that's an incredible piece of business by Napoli. Once again, we bought him for 5 million, we used them, we hit our heads against the wall a few times, but we're able possibly to sell him on for a profit here for 7 million. That is incredible. And then there might also be Jens Kajuste on his way out. He hasn't been quite linked to different clubs. There's nothing concrete, but when speaking to different journalists, not myself, but I guess people that work in the business, speaking to different journalists in radio shows, I mean, amongst each other, let's say, They have said that Cayuste is very much on very thin ice with Conte. He's not convincing him enough, and he could be on his way out. Now, guys, Lindstrom, Ostigard, Cayuste, these are people that haven't quite convinced us in recent years, well, especially last year. What do these players all have in common? Well, they are from three out of the four, five if you include Iceland, Nordic countries. Okay? Does this mean that Napoli is getting rid of all their Nordic players? Yeah, it does. Does it mean that Napoli is racist against their Nordic players? No. No, it does not. Okay? I just want to confirm that with you guys because I don't want any more, you know, Napoli is a club that I don't know, we don't want players from this country anymore. I don't want to hear that. Those three players have objectively been very bad for Napoli. Okay? No, because I say that because De Laurentiis has sometimes spoken about no more Polish players after Milik and Zielinski situations, and they had fights with De Laurentiis. Then, when it was the AFCON, it was no more African players because I don't want to lose them for a month due to AFCON. I don't want you guys now to start thinking, now no more Nordic players either. Guys, it's a coincidence, okay? And I hope Napoli doesn't doesn't think this way, doesn't think based on nationality. Um, but I just thought it was interesting to connect those dots. Maybe I don't know. Does it have to do maybe with the culture, though, being a bit too different in those countries from Naples? I mean, we are literally opposite sides of Europe. Maybe it's a bit harder for them to integrate with the culture. I don't know. Is that maybe why their performances are not as good? I have no idea. But I don't want you guys to think anything in particular. Another guy that is leaving possibly is Gaetano, going maybe to Cagliari, making that 23-24 season loan deal a bit more permanent. And apparently, there is 10 million euros on the line here. I would be very surprised if Napoli were able to get 10 million euros from Gaetano. Let's see, but apparently he's another one of those players that have not convinced Conte. And then obviously we get to Osimhen, guys. Osimhen is someone that we know has intentions to leave Napoli, and Napoli has intentions to say goodbye to him. He did not feature in the friendlies over the last 2 weeks. He has been training quite separately from the team, some sessions together, some not, and he has a salary that Napoli just cannot take without Champions League football this year. But De Laurentiis wants at least 100 million. PSG are not willing to match that. They've offered some counterparts, then they've taken them back, then they've offered different counterparts. Napoli refused them. But it just doesn't make sense, the whole PSG thing to me, because they already have Kolo Muani and Gonzalo Ramos. Maybe they thought that Kolo Muani might go to Atletico Madrid, but it seems like Atletico Madrid will go and get the Girona striker. So they can confirm, possibly realistically, that Kolo Muani will stay at PSG, which makes the whole transfer saga of Osimhen blocked, right? Why would PSG spend 120 if they already have two very good strikers? But the intention for Napoli is that Osimhen will not be there, and that's confirmed because they Napoli released a new FIFA trailer together with FC EA Sports, which is the new FIFA for anyone that's not, in the loop. But basically, in this whole entire video, right, where there's a few images of Napoli players, and we'll get this to load. There's a few images of Napoli players. Osimhen never features, right? And it's a shame that this video is not loading. Let me refresh the page because I want to show you guys very briefly. You see Ngonje, you see Kvara come up. There we go. Di Lorenzo. You see you even see Buongiorno, right? So the messages are clear on which players are staying, and you never see Osimhen. And what makes me realize that this is very accurate from Napoli and it's very intentional is this moment right here where Meret concedes a goal. And I'm just thinking, this video is accurate because Meret has conceded a goal. It is 100% reliable that whatever is on this video reflects reality, and therefore Osimhen not appearing on this video means that Napoli is preparing for a life outside of Osimhen. Now guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any topics that you'd like me to discuss about, drop it down in the comments. If the whole Lukaku Osimhen thing gets a bit more heated in the next few days, I might do a comparison video. I might even do a story of Osimhen at Napoli video if he indeed does leave or he's on the brink of leaving. But for now, everything is just rumors, and I don't want to put more fuel into the fire for no reason. But I thought doing this kind of roundup of rumors for this week might be something interesting and might stir some interesting conversations in the chat. Guys, again, if you've enjoyed it, smash that like button. And if you've not yet subscribed, smash that subscribe button as well. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.